Hello everybody, how are you tonight? Thank you for inviting me here to Induction. I'm really excited to be here. For those of you that know me, hi. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'll take just a minute to tell you about myself. My name is Ashley Gutowski. I am the outgoing president of the NSCS chapter for Baker College Online. I actually held the president position for 2 years, and before that I was executive vice president. And I was lucky enough to actually be one of the founding officers of the chapter. So, as you can guess, I'm really excited to be here in a completely different role for the first time. My job tonight is keynote speaker, and what I'd like to talk to you about are the benefits of NSCS. But I'd like to talk about them from a different perspective. I'd like to talk about them from the perspective of an alumni member. There are many things that I thought were extremely important when I started, and they are. But there are things that I never guessed that are important to me now, having graduated and moved into the job market. So I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about the things that I've experienced personally, so that you can know everything that I'm telling you about as a benefit is absolutely 100% true. So I'm going to go back to the day I got my invitation. And like most of you, the first thing I saw in that invitation, don't lie to yourselves, first thing you saw too, and I thought, this is going to cost me how much? So I put the invitation away for a couple days, and then I noticed I kept thinking about it, and so I pulled it back out, and I really started reading what type of benefits there were available to me, and I was trying to outweigh, or decide whether it outweighed the cost, and I must tell you it's outweighed it so many times over again for me, and hopefully it does for you as well. The first one of the things I was thinking about when I got the invitation was my resume. I wanted that on my resume for employers to look at and help set me apart from other people. And I hope you all have thought of that as well. It's going to be great to add to your resume. However, once I went out and started interviewing for internships, like I said, I'd been president for 2 years, and I really thought that having that on my resume was going to be wonderful. They were going to be just awed by this. And somehow they didn't end up worshiping at my feet like I thought over it, and they all questioned it further. Every single one of them asked me more about it. They wanted to know why I joined, what I liked about it, what I'd contributed personally, how I made it a better chapter, how it made me a better person, and all these different questions. So I would like to warn you that it will absolutely be a phenomenal thing on your resume. But make sure you go into it knowing yourself and knowing the Honor Society very thoroughly. And hopefully you have some things that you participate in by the time you go into the job market that you'll be able to show them how you really made a difference in this chapter. So that's that. And I hope that it's the one thing you definitely remember at the end of this, because it's something that's applicable to every single one of you. The next thing that I started looking at was scholarships. At the time, I had lost my particular funding, so I now had to fund the last 2 years of school by myself. So I was actually lucky enough to get scholarships to cover my whole last year and a half. So I am going to take a minute. Also, Travis asked me to touch on scholarships a little deeper. So I'm going to take a minute to not only talk about how they benefit you, but also a little knowledge on how to get them. So the first part is naturally you have to apply. And that seems extremely obvious until you start trying to do it. It's hard to find scholarships. However, with NSCS, we have them right at our fingertips. I was lucky enough to land 2 NSCS scholarships, and that gave me over $2,000 towards college. So as soon as you are done with induction, you're probably going to be tired. Get over it. Head over to www.nscs.org and start looking through the scholarships that they have out there for you. And then really start fine-tuning them. First of all, like I said, look at nscs.org, but also check out places like FastWeb and also places within your community. I got a scholarship from my local credit union. It was huge. That was $2,000 alone. So look at places like that, the Kiwanis, the Eagles, the Elks, other organizations within your community. Sometimes you might find the employers that you're looking at, you might even give scholarships. So check those out as well. So think creatively. Think outside the box a little bit when you're looking. And then when you go to apply, keep that creative thinking going. You really need to stand apart from the next person applying, because it's guaranteed you won't be the only one. If you are lucky enough to be the only one applying, good job. you did a good job looking. Because the next hint that I was going to give you is to make sure that you're looking for scholarships. I mean, go ahead and apply for the big ones that anybody's going to apply for, but look for ones that are very specific to you, that might narrow down your competition a little bit, and it'll statistically give you a better chance of winning. So look for females, look for female-only scholarships or mother scholarships. Guys, look for dad scholarships, hunter scholarships. They're all over the place. And I don't mean that to be biased, just look for things that are in your area, things you're great at, things that you really know. Look in your degree field. So those are some hints. Make sure that you're narrowing your search down a little bit just to give yourself better odds once you do apply, because each application is going to take a lot of work from you. Just like a resume, the more work you put into it for each individual application or each individual company, the better that your results are going to be. So go into that application giving them the best application you can give them. You want it to be the best representation of yourself that it can be. So as I said, be creative, think outside the box, just do things a little differently. But the most important part is make sure it conveys who you are. It needs to convey your motivations, your passions, what drives you, show that you're focused, because that's what's going to make a person want to invest in your future. So that's what I have to say about scholarships. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me separately outside of this, and I'll give you any advice I possibly can. The next benefit that I want to talk to you guys about isn't as obvious as the others. It might be something that you never thought about yourself. Maybe you're lucky enough to have, but I never did. Networking. It is extremely important. You're getting the opportunity to meet Baker College staff. There's Amanda Banks, our chapter advisor, who's also a career advisor. Nikki Perkins, who is the director of career services. Chuck Gurdon, vice president of Baker Online. Julia Tehan, president of Baker Online. They have all been extremely involved in our chapter, and they're wonderful, amazing people that can help you so much academically and also in your professional life. So get the chance to meet them, to know them, and let them help you. Also, NSCS staff. There are so many wonderful people in NSCS itself. I have actually been lucky enough to meet Steve Laughlin, the CEO and founder, several times, and he's just an inspiring, wonderful individual. But beyond those, the other members that you have the opportunity to meet, not only in our chapter, but reach out to other chapters too, because you are getting the opportunity to meet the best and the brightest of the nation. It could be our future president, the top lawyers, the top doctors, the top financial analysts. Any which way you look at it, these are people that you might need to know for your own life, that you might need to know your future profession as well. So don't miss out on that opportunity. I've been lucky enough to meet members from all over the country, and I still talk to so many of them on a regular basis. They've become great friends of mine. So I hope you have that opportunity as well. Now, this next part is the single most important thing for me. It's made the biggest difference on my life, and I hope that it will for you as well. Those of you that reach out to become a leader of this chapter are going to find yourself completely changed. But the biggest thing with NSCS, and like anything else, the more you give to it, the more you get from it. So when you put yourself out there as a leader and you're giving 110% to something like this, you've got to start, you really got to be self-driven. You can't wait for somebody to tell you what to do. You've got to get out there and start searching it out. But once you do that, you're going to find yourself developing into this wholly new person. When I took on the presidency, I was terrified. Absolutely just shaking, terrified, because I had no idea what I was doing. And I was a very, very, very self-conscious person when I started this. And now, I wouldn't say that I'm particularly confident at this point, but I've gained a tremendous amount of confidence over what I had 5 years ago. So the ability to become a leader of this chapter gave me confidence, and beyond that, so many skills that I previously didn't have. Communication skills, organizational skills. As I said, learning how much it can mean to motivate yourself and drive yourself, and proving to yourself over and over again the things you can do. So I encourage each of you to get involved in the chapter, whether it's specifically as a leader, as in president, vice president, those type of roles, or whether it's helping in a committee or just getting involved in a social chat. Each one of those things will help you grow and expand a little bit. So I want you to each take that opportunity to push yourself a little bit, to step outside of who you are and make yourself uncomfortable. That's the best thing you can do. Make yourself scared and uncomfortable and go for it, because that's what NSCS is going to help you do. And once you do that, you've become this new person that you may not have even recognized before. So I hope that this helped you all, and I'm really excited to have been here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and feel free to contact me outside of this. I'm on Facebook, or you can also get my contact information from Travis. I look forward to meeting all of you. Thank you so much.